welcome back, and please welcome Hollywood icon Dame Joan Collins. We had such a lot of fun recreating that this morning. I mean, very quickly. I mean, not as much fun as I'm sure you had in the many years you were Alexis. And we all remember it so fondly because it was the glamour and the glitz and the arguments and the earrings and the shoulder pads. I mean, it was an extraordinary time. What are your memories when you just even hear that music?
My memories are... I cannot believe they put me in such terrible hats. Mostly when I see it. But I have very fond memories of some of the cast. I mean, I loved John James, who played Jeff Colby. I loved Emma Sams, who played my daughter, and Stephanie Beecham and Kate O'Mara. But some of the others, we didn't get along so well. But basically, it was just really a grind, you know. We never had any time off because weekends were spent doing publicity. I think I must have done 500 magazine covers and layouts while I was doing it. And then we had to go and find our costumes. And, of course, I do like shopping, so I spend a lot of time in Saks and Neiman's going around. And you would go in and you would get a shopper, a personal shopper, and you'd go through it, I'll have that and that and that and that. A bit like our Prime Minister.
Joan, did you keep any of the clothes from when the series ended?
Of course. Yes, I kept a lot of the costume jewellery. Yeah. Because I love costume jewellery, as you can tell. Not this wasn't on it. And I kept some, but there's no way I could keep it now. I wouldn't possibly fit into them. We weren't allowed to eat anything except for, in between, sort of celery sticks and carrots. And they had this fabulous craft service filled with buns and all kinds of goodies. And all of the crew put on 2 stone each season.
But
Diane Carroll, who I love, of course, Diane Carroll. And Stephanie and Linda and I, they would say, no, carrot stick.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was hard. And because if you look at it, I mean, we were all stick insects.
Yeah, but all looked fabulous and we all just...
Well, actually, this jacket is the one thing that I kept.
Well, it's
and I wanted to wear it, because
I
think it's a sort of... like a classic Yves Saint Laurent jacket.
I mean, I think bring the shoulder pads back, don't you, ladies?
They've been back. Ruth,
they're back. Look what Brenda's got.
I mean, these are shoulder pads. I don't even know how these are. Just going with it all.
Shoulder pads are very good when you want to be in charge. I know when I was a BBC executive, I had massive shoulder pads at all times.
Really?
Yeah.
They do make you feel empowered. But also, I've got very broad shoulders anyway, so I like to make them, and they make your waist look smaller and your hips smaller, so they are quite flattering. Well, look at you. I mean, what are those?
Yes, those are.
And let me see.
They're her shoulders.
No,
Put mine out.
Shoulders.
I have to ask you about your new show that you're here to do. One night only show, but behind the shoulder pad.
Yes. Well, I thought that was a rather camp.
I love that title.
Well, basically, it's one night. We're just doing it at the Adelphi on the 22nd. And I'm talking about all kinds of things in my life because I've met quite a few. People say, oh, you're always dropping names. I said, I'm talking about people that I worked with. From the time I was 17, I worked with people like, Kenneth Moore, John Gielgud, and then it was Betty Davis. And so I talk about all of those people, and I talk about my incredible rise to success, which, when I look back on it, is quite shocking, really. I mean, 17 plucked out of RADA, put under contract to a British company, made 10 films in England, then at 20, sold to 20th Century Fox, get on a plane, go to California, don't know a single person there, without my mommy and daddy, and just kind of... I just didn't worry about it. I didn't think, oh, I'm so scared. I just did it. And it was just like fairyland, really. I met all these amazing people, you know, Lana Turner, Frank Sinatra, all of these. And I was invited to all the parties. I mean, I'm not talking about work now. I'm talking about what happened on behind the scenes.
Yeah, what about Warren Beatty?
What about him?
Yeah. So how long were you an item with Warren Beatty?
Well, we were engaged. I had the ring. I think, but, you know, nobody knows who he is anymore, Janet.
No.
No. I think about a year and a half, yeah. He was, but he was, that was before he was famous.
And he did that film Shampoo.
Yes,
more or less
yeah,
was reflected his life.
I think so, yeah. But I had more interesting people than that I
Did you keep the ring?
I did. I kept it for a very long time, and then I sold it for charity, for my charity, my children's charity.
You mentioned how young you were. I mean, you actually started when you were 6 or 7 and did theatre work and things.
Yeah.
We mentioned earlier the kind of casting couch era, and you, I believe, were a feminist probably before your time, because I was incredibly interested to read how you did not go down the road of the casting couch and actually lost work because of it, lost roles, really important roles.
Absolutely, lots. Well, my father was an agent, and he warned me about. He didn't want me to be an actress. He really said it's a terribly, terribly dangerous profession, and by the time you're in your 25, you'll be, you know, finished, and you won't be able to get work, and the men are all predatory, and they'll all be after you because you're a pretty girl. And I said, well, how do I handle that, Daddy? He said, well, there are 2 ways. You can laugh at them in their face, and then look down at them and laugh at what they are trying to present. And or you can kick them in that place, you know, with your knee. He said, but whatever it is, don't give in to it. I said, I can't. Anyway, I only liked handsome men. I've only been out, and actually all my husbands have been handsome, and that might make me, and funny. Funny is very important.
But you would have had to have had an incredibly strong character to do that, because you can, you know, when you hear other women talk about it, they felt very vulnerable. These men were hugely powerful. They could, like you said, you know, you'd be under contract. They just wouldn't give you a film for many years. So you must have had that spirit of character to do that, to stand up.
I guess I did, Ruth. I think I am quite strong. I've never taken to drink and drugs and all of those other things. Well, drink, yes, now and again. But I just feel that I always felt that women were equal to men in every respect, except physically, because I really don't think that women have the bone structure and that men have. And I think that that has been proven. A lot of people are now going to disagree with me and give me hate mail. Please don't.
When I first met you years and years ago, it was a new phase in your career because you starred in a film all about, you know, written around you, The Stud.
Oh, yes.
How long ago was that?
That was 78.
Yeah.
And that my sister wrote that. She wrote the book. And then she very kindly, when I said, oh, I've had loads of periods when I've been out of work, like now. And she said, I'll write it for you, and I'll write the script. Well, I had to schlep it around everywhere, America, to try and get it made. And it was only George Walker who, when I was sitting next to him, because I was pushing this dreadful film I did called Empire of the Ants. Did you ever have the
No, I've never seen
pleasure of seeing Empire of the Ants? Well, all right, don't. Anyway, and he said, yeah, we'll make it. And here was the thing that was so amazing. I gave him the script in June, it was, and we were in production in October. That's unheard of today. Unheard of. Today it takes forever. I have a script now that I want to do, and we've been working on it for 3 years, and hopefully we'll get it done at some point. But it's very hard. It's a tough, tough business, and I know it is. And my father gave me all of the information and grit, I guess, to know how to survive it. And when I was very, very famous, which I never really wanted to be anyway, but when I was, and a reporter said to me, so, and you know, I was on every cover and all of that, and the reporter said, so what are you going to do, Joan, if this all ends. And I said, well, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, because it's not going to last, because I'm not going to be the flavour of the month forever. It's been like 8 or 9 years. And I'll just go and, you know, become a jobbing actor again, which is what I felt I always was. And well, you know, when I hear these words like icon, and I just think, no, that's not me.
Well, we think you are.
Oh, stop.
Actually, and you know, just the stories we've had today, this is a tiny snapshot of your life and your career. You can see, Joan, it's called One Night Only. It's the London's Adelphi Theatre on the 22nd of October. I came to your last show and it's fascinating. Your lovely husband, Percy, interviews you, and the photographs and the pictures, I mean, it's absolutely amazing, the career you've had. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
We'd
love you to be on Newsom and More. So
Oh, well, I'm here.
Dame Joan Collins.